Did you know that the United States government have hidden your identity from you? And they did a pretty good job of doing it. What? You really think the government was just going to tell you exactly who you are? That would benefit you. You know that, right? Since when have the government ever did anything for you that is beneficial for you? Allow me to show you the evidence of your identity. Let's begin. And guys, make sure you head on down to my YouTube and subscribe to my channel for the greatest content that you ever stumbled across a day in your life. And also, go to my TikTok as well and follow me, for most of my content is on TikTok. Thank you. We're going to this bill right here, which is called HR 1385. On page 12 of this bill, 57, the Virginia Vital Statistics Bureau classed all non-reservation Indians as Negro, and it failed to see why an exception should be made for the Wabanaks. Now, that should be a main dagger, because in those times, all of the South usually followed pursuit of Virginia. They followed everything what Virginia was doing that was contrary to the Negroes. So if you see in Congress that these Indians was reclassified as Negroes, imagine how many other tribes over the 5,000 tribes was reclassified as Negroes across the Mississippi. Therefore, in 1925, the Indians Rights Association took on the Wabanaks case to assist the Wabanaks in fighting for their recognition and rights of the Indian tribe. Again, imagine how many of our people was fighting for their rights, but they had failed. They failed. We've been reclassified as Negroes and colors and blacks. During the Second World War, the Pamunkeys, the Mattaponis, the Chickahominys, and the Wabanaks had to fight the draft boards with respect to their racial identities. The Virginia Vital Statistics Bureau insisted that certain Indian draftees be inducted into Negro units. So do you see what's going on? These are full-blood Indians that's being reclassified as Negroes. Y'all should know who the one is in charge of this, and I'm going to show you. Dr. Walter Plecker, that's his name, specifically target Virginia Indians. At the time, individuals who had 1/16 or less Indian blood were permitted to register as white. He believed that there was no true Indians living in Virginia, and those claiming to be Indian were only using the title to try and pass as white. He wrote that mixed blood families, or those suspected of having Negro ancestry, must not be allowed to register as white or Indian. It is illegal for individuals to classify themselves or their newborn children as Indian. Dr. Plecker sent a list of Indian surnames to the county registers, insisting that not allow any with the surnames to register as white or Indian. He spent decades changing the race designation on birth certificates and other legal documents from Indian to colored, Negro, or free issue, a term used to describe former slaves after the Civil War. He threatened hospitals, midwives, and registrars who used the classification of Indian, and was successful in getting many Virginia Indians jailed for refusing to acquiesce to his beliefs and change their racial classification. Man, that's crazy.
It looks like you lost.
So you can clearly see what Dr. Walter Plecker was doing. He was going around threatening people, telling them to change their birth certificates from Indian to colored to Negro, or from Indian to Negro. That's what was going on. He was trying to eliminate your identity. He didn't believe black people was Indians. He was another man that was indoctrinated by this government system. But it's a clear case, and there's clear evidence to blacks of America, especially across the East Coast, is the real American Indians. Let's look into the Racial Integrity Act just to get a little more info about Dr. Walter Plecker.
Like you lost another one.
The new Virginia law to preserve racial integrity, March 1924, by Dr. Walter Plecker. So we're going to jump down to the bottom of the page. It says right here, these persons, however, are not white in reality, nor by new definition of the law, that a white person is one with no trace of the blood of another race, except that a person with 1/16 of the American Indian, if there's no other race mixture, may be classed as white. And it says their children are likely to revert to a distinctly Negro type, even when all apparent evidence of mixture has disappeared. Right? Mixtures of either of these crossings with true Negroes should be designated as black, Negro, or colored. The true mixed issues, and perhaps one or two others, will be understood to mean a mixture of white and black races, with the white predominating. That is the class that should be reported with the greatest care, as many of these are on the borderline and constitute the real danger of race intermixture. Now this is the main part right here. It says the term Indian would no longer be accepted for that class, talking about the Negroes, but must be applied only to those of known pure Indian blood, or those mixed with white. So, if you're white, you're an Indian? Do you see? This is crazy. And it says if there is a mixture of Negro, they must not be classed as Indians, but as Negroes or mixed Indians. Now check this out. Japanese, Chinese, and other Mongolian or Malay races must be designated as such, giving the country of their birth or of their ancestors. When crossed with white, the race mixture should be indicated as Japanese white. If with black, they should be designated as black or Negro, but it may be written as Negro Japanese. If you was from Africa, if your origin is from Africa, why didn't they put Africa or African on your birth certificate? So what really is Negro blood? What is it? So now whites can be classed as Indians, even having pure white blood, without being mixed with Native Americans. Do you see what's going on? How your identity is being taken by someone that is indoctrinated, that is in a political power? Let's go. Now we're gonna head to this dictionary right here. The Facts on File Encyclopedia of Word and Phrases and Origins, the 4th edition. N-word has also been an offensive, derogatory term applied to Indians as well as blacks up until recent times. Dodge the hijack. Blacks and Indians is literally the same thing. I told you there's evidence out here to prove that Indians go back to the N-word. That is why Native Americans don't want to be called Indians, because the proof is in the pudding. That word links back to you, my brothers and sisters. Let's look at another definition. According to the Oxford Dictionary, The N-word means a dark-skinned person of any origin. Any origin. You could be from Russia, you could be from Germany, you could be from China, you can be from the Pacific Islands. If you are dark-skinned, they called you an N-word. In early U.S. history, basically, used usually with reference to the American Indians, and it says usually offensive. So do you see? That's 3 witnesses for you. I'm gonna give you one more. We're gonna head to this book right here, The American Historical Record. We're gonna skip on down to the word here, right there in the last sentence of the first paragraph. It says, here the terms colored persons, blacks, and Indians are synonymous. Synonymous, right? And they all mean the Marshby Indians. But I just showed you another witness to show you that blacks and Indians, Negroes, colored, they all mean the same thing. Again, this is why the Native Americans don't want to be called Indians, because if you do your research, you will find out that they are not the Negroes, and the government never called them the Negroes. So family, what have you learned? You learned that colored, Indian, Negroes, the other N-word, it all means the same thing. And you learned that Congress had literally changed Indians from Negroes, and they tried to force them on the draft records, the draft list, and all that other stuff. If you go read the documents yourself, I keep telling you, the more you dig, the more of you're going to find. This is why they say stop indigenous erasure. This is why they say stop native erasure. It's because they know the truth. They want you to stop digging because it's gonna ruin it for everyone else. Just like what this guy has said.
But how does this tie into Wabos? All it's gonna take is for them to start protesting these streets and gaining the attention of the media, your local government, your state government, and your federal government. But Two Rivers, they've been doing that and it's not working. It hasn't worked yet. And I haven't even got into the dangerous part of it yet. With all of the treaties that have not been honored or broken in North America, have you ever stopped to think that of those 574 federally recognized tribes, that some, if not all, can lose their federal recognition? I bet you didn't think about that, did you? At any time, any sitting president can revoke that federal recognition from any given tribe at any time they want. And this has happened before, they've tried it. Oh, but Two Rivers, the president can't just wave a pen and make that magically happen. Yes, he can. And if we've already got somebody who's sympathizing with them and agreeing to their stories, all they've got to do is start getting the attention of their local Congress, their state Congress, and the federal Congress to start talking about this in the House and the Senate. At that point, facts don't matter when you're pandering to people for votes. But what about all those Karens and those rich white people that don't want them around? Once those Wabos start taking the streets and claiming to be Cherokee or etc., all they're gonna have to do is start causing a nuisance for those Karens and for those rich white people to start talking to the news, to go into their local authorities, the local government, the state government, and the federal government that they want those tribes removed from their area. Bet you didn't think about that either, did you? These Wabos have already started waging war on us in our comment section, making videos about us, and going on their lives saying how they want to us. And it's going to turn into a civil war between the American Indian Anunnakis and the Native Americans. And before you know it, it's going to gain national traction. Mark my words. And you remember during the Civil Rights Movement when white people protested and they didn't want colored people in their neighborhoods or colored people serving them at restaurants. You had to use the white-only water fountain or the black-only water fountain. Imagine when rich white people catch wind of us fighting about who the real Native Americans are. Imagine the nuisance and all the problems that are going to be caused from that war being waged against us. Imagine how fast those rich white people are going to start getting rid of us. They're going to take it to the news And then everybody in the United States is going to know about it. So those Wabos claiming to be one or two of those federally recognized tribes, they're going to ruin it for everybody.
You heard it. You see it. I am not joking. This is very beautiful. We are coming back for our identity. It doesn't matter who feathers is roughing up. We're coming, and this is our future. From leaving colored, black, and even the term Indian back to our true nationality, and that is self-determination. You heard it. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you like and subscribe.